Ladies, gents, and all other forms of life in between, today is a day for learning. And by learning, I mean I'm gonna teach you those last 20 words that I didn't get to last time. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, and others. Today, you're going to learn really weird or kind of uncommon slang words. This serves no purpose. That's right, get ready to expand your vocabulary because today we are learning the last 20 words from the 1880s to the 1950s that have kind of gone missing. So, let's get into it. My whiteboard I can no longer use because my dry erase marker is dead now. So, I'm gonna read you from my list of words, and I'm gonna learn you a thing or two. The first word. Have you ever seen someone who's you're just automatically infatuated with them? You want to talk to them, but you can't because they're unapproachable to you. That is something that you would call bang up to an elephant in around the 1880s. And what it basically means is just, something that's perfect, complete, and unapproachable. Or, unapproachable. Next word, collie-shangles. If you're in a bar and someone is getting into collie-shangles, they're getting into quarrels, which is basically they're fighting. There's a bar fight going on. I wouldn't want to be in that bar. From all the movies I've watched, everyone ends up getting involved in a bar fight. So, do you got the morbs? Are you good? Do you got the morbs? The morbs is basically, it's basically saying, hey, are you sad? Are you really depressed? Stuff like that. Heidi, get out of the trash. Okay, this word that I'm about to tell you, I'm pretty sure it derives from a word from earlier. It was mutton something, but I can't exactly remember what, and I can't remember what it means. But a mutton chanter is another word for a policeman that basically means pig. So I guess our generation isn't the only one that's, not happy with the police. Lastly, for the 1880s to the 1890s, we have a word that is something I didn't want to put, but at the same time it's too good to not put. This word is wham, bam, thank you, ma'am. So I guess most of these are phrases, but whatever. Anyways, wham, bam, and thank you, ma'am is, I don't want to say it. Okay, wham, bam, thank you, ma'am is used in reference to quick and rough intercourse. And now we're moving on. 1900s to the 1910s is quite possibly getting into one of my favorite eras. I love the Roaring 20s with my whole heart, and what leads up to it is kind of my favorite thing as well. But this was also war times, towards the end of it, towards the end of the 1910s. War times because of World War I. If you don't know about World War I, I'm sorry. 1900s to 1910s. Begins with pan. Pan is something that you do whenever you're criticizing something severely. So if I'm panning it out for you, I'm severely criticizing whatever it is you're doing. Maybe that's good, maybe it's not. Depends on whether or not it's constructive. Only ever give constructive criticism, kiddos. Hanging. We had a hanging good time, We had an excellent, outstanding time, my friend-roos. Heidi keeps getting into things, so she's gonna help us finish out the 1900s to the 1910s. Oh yes, aren't you? Callie? Heidi? Sorry, I have 2 dogs. Heidi, what's the next word? What's the next word, Heidi? What is it, huh? Is it duck soup? Oh! Is it duck soup? What's duck soup, Heidi? Can you tell him? Huh? Can you tell him? Can you tell him what it is? Hmm? Oh, it's something easy, like talking. That was Heidi. Definitely not me. Totally. Never. But yeah, duck soup is something easy, so I guess instead of saying easy as pie, they'd say, it's duck soup. You know, it's like, I gotta ask you a favor, and you know this favor is duck soup, you know? I'm now a mobster from the 1900s. It's all to the mustard. Is not something I'd say about this video, because all to the mustard actually means excellent, and most of my videos are not, but that's fine. To pass on, this was really weird to me, because like, we all know what pass on means. Like, it's dying, it's like, hey, you're dead. But apparently, this word came around in like the 1900s, 1910s, because a bunch of Christian doctors were like, hey, we're not gonna say they're dead. We're gonna say they've passed on into the afterlife, to heaven or Hades town, where it is they're going. They're not dead, they're passing on. Because apparently it was like some kind of popular belief around like Christianity communities and Christian doctors that no one has died since Jesus. Jesus was the last person to die, and now everyone else is just passing on. I have no idea if that's 100% true, but I checked it out, and scottandrews.com told me that, so you can go check that out if you want. Now, the last one for the 1900s to the 1910s, get ready, certain communities, I'll be right back. Daddy is a really uncomfortable word. It's really weird nowadays, personally, for me. And, you know, instead of calling him your daddy, why don't you call him your rough diamond? Because in the 1900s to 1910s, that's what you said. Instead of daddy, you said rough diamond. I mean, it also is a word that means a rich dude that eats peas with his knives. So I don't know why it's so specific. But hey, you know, maybe your sugar daddy is a guy who eats peas with his knives. That's for you to figure out, not me. I'm just giving you words. 1920s to the 1930s. This is a joke I've been prepping for a very long time. And my joke is, we all know the water is wet debate, right? But if you're gonna say that saying water is wet is wrong, then aren't you basically calling it all wet? That's right, all wet in the 1920s to the 1930s meant wrong. So, I think I'm hilarious. If you're beating one's gums, you're talking a lot. It's like chatter, 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 chatter. Quit beating your gums. Go beat them down in the comments below. Buku! This is my favorite word, sorry. I found this word and I was like, oh my god, I could say this forever. Buku, 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 boo. That and absquatulate. Those are my 2 favorite words to say right now. It's so funny. Buku! And it's really funny because you could say that word a lot and it's gonna sound like it's not real no matter what. And buku actually means much or a lot. So, I just really like the word. I think it's a funny word. Buku! Coo coo! Boo boo! A Monday morning quarterback. Apparently in the 1930s to the 1920s to the 1930s, I'm guessing they didn't have Monday morning football. So to them, a Monday morning quarterback was someone who offers advice too late. Someone who comes out to help too late. It's like, hey, the football game was on Sunday. You weren't there. And now you're here on the field on a Monday? No, help anybody. But okay, I guess. So, I actually think that's a really cool thing. You know, I don't know if we still have Monday morning football. I don't watch football enough to know. But, you know, if I ever call you a Monday morning quarterback, I don't like your advice. I don't need it anymore. Sorry. So, you can all probably guess what this is gonna mean right whenever I say it, but like, hey, is that funny haha or funny peculiar? And a lot of times people would say this whenever they were talking about a woman. So like two dudes are talking and they're like, hey, it's just like, hey, bro, I got this real funny girl that I'm talking to right now. And the other bro is like, funny haha or funny peculiar? And then he can clarify as to whether or not she's funny, like you're gonna laugh, or if she's funny because she's kind of weird and kind of off. Pretty cool. I want to bring that back too, so I'm probably gonna start saying that a lot. A bear cat. We've all heard of a cougar. We know what cougars are. Cougars are older women that go after younger men, but a bear cat is simply a sexy or seductive woman. So, whenever you're trying to think of original and unique pet names, hey, whenever you're trying to think of original or unique pet names for your woman, I don't know, you might think about calling her a bear cat. I wasn't supposed to tell you that one. Sorry. We're on our last thing, you guys, and then we're gonna go into the honorary mentions. Look at that. You guys are making this go so fast. You're listening so well. I hope you're all taking notes. If you haven't, take this time, go back, take notes on whatever words were your favorite. Or don't. Doesn't matter. But yeah, these are the last few words. Awesome. 1940s to the 1950s. The greaser era. The Elvis Presley. I have a record. 1940s to the 1950s, the time for rock. King of rock and roll, Elvis Presley. I used to have the case for this. I had it signed by Jensen Ackles and Misha Collins, and it's my treasure. If you're a fan of Supernatural, you will probably understand why I had those two sign an Elvis record. But, anyways, this was not just a time for rock, and for greasers, and for socialites, and for Ponyboy, and man, I'm really sad now because of that book. Anyways, this is not just a time for that. This was also a time of war and of reinvention. As we were coming out of the Great Depression, we just got bombed by Japan a little bit ago. So this is a crazy time. Crazy time. New things are happening. Everything's insane. Civil rights movements are everywhere because people of color went across the seas and were treated like decent human beings, and oh my god, that happens in the world, and then they come back to America and they're like, this isn't cool. We just went to a place where it wasn't cool. Anyways, getting off topic. The words are kind of becoming something that we can more recognize nowadays. And that's kind of why I stopped here, because I was like, well, anything within the past 50 years, you're probably going to be able to figure out what it meant. Except for this phrase, buy the farm. Now, that could be B-Y the farm, it could be B-U-Y the farm. Either way, whether you misspell it or not, it means to die. So like, hey ma'am, Johnny went to buy the farm. Sorry. That's a horrible way to break the news to someone. Oh my god, hang on a second. My personal favorite, you know fruity drinks? I think part of the reason there's a big stereotype between them is kind of partially because, like, fruity in the 1940s to 1950s meant gay. So you could see it as gay as in happy, but seeing as the LGBT community is, like, really going strong after the Stone Riots. Really? Stone Riots just happened, so I think nobody's gonna think it means happy, really, anymore. Do you want water? Let me finish this up real quick. Okay, we're gonna go speedy fast. Retread is an old singer that's making a comeback, so, I mean, if Michael Jackson somehow came alive and started making a comeback, or you could argue that he's making a comeback right now with all the hee-hee jokes that are going around like TikTok and stuff. I don't know. Four on the floor referred to a 4-speed gear shift in a car because it's like vroom, whenever you kick it up to the 4th speed. Oh. Cooties. We all know about cooties. Cooties are an imaginary infestation of the uncool. So it's like, I got the cooties. Oh, can you not? You're uncool. Do I have any? I did. So I accidentally did all of my honorable mentions inside the videos themselves because I can't read apparently. Can you not? I apparently can't read. Heidi is very upset. So we're gonna sign off. We're gonna say bye. I'll see you next time. She needs some water because it's really hot. Go get some water yourselves because it's probably really hot. Climate change, care about the environment. Okay, bye.